Okay, so students nowadays, what is going on when you go for the web application development? Right now, what we are doing, even we did it. So what happens when you make the web application? I'm talking about the dynamic web application. Then, as a response, what do you send? Can any one of you answer this question? As we know that when any website is developed, so that website works on the request response paradigm. Okay, request is generated for a particular page. Okay, and if the requested page is available, then response is given back to the client. This is exactly what happens. If I ask you what exactly you get as a response on the client machine, can any one of you answer this question? Yes, students, very simple.
Service.
Okay,
Data,
service is provided. That is okay.
we get a data response.
Okay, data we send. Now, doesn't matter you are going for the static web application or dynamic web application. Till this point, whatever you did, in which one view page was given as a response, the entire page comes to the client machine students. Okay, even if you are creating a servlet, and in the servlet you are printing hello, so you are sending one view. Okay, you are sending one view. That view will be shown on the client machine. Getting things? That is your HTTP response. Okay, you send this HTTP request response. And the response that you are sending, we can show that response in the web browser only. At least this you can understand now. Because whenever you create a web page, maybe it is HTML page or servlet or any JSP page, you get the response in the web browser only. And web browser is a client or a software that is used to show the web pages to the user on the client machine. So that's why you are sending the web page student as a response. And that web page can be shown only in the web browser. Client is web browser here actually. Okay, here it is web browser. Okay, this is your web server. So doesn't matter you go for the dynamic response using the dynamic website or the static response using the static website, HTML page or something created by you. So this is the thing that you do, students. Okay. Now the problem is what with this approach. If you want to make the web application, generally we use the web application in the client machine, web browser only. Getting things, students. So what is the problem over here? Yes, there is a problem. Just try to understand. Suppose you created any web application. You created any web application, and that web application generates the views. So those views can be requested from the web browser only. For example, on your PC, suppose you don't have web browser installed, then you cannot use any web application. Correct? Am I correct? Same thing, suppose you are having any device, let us say smartphone. And suppose on the smartphone, you don't have web browser, you cannot use the website. That is the thing. So web browser is needed. Okay, that is okay. Fine. If we want to use, we should install any software. That is not any big issue. But the point is what? As a developer, when you make the website, suppose you created a website. Okay, one website is created by you. And that website, you want that should be consumed from web browser So the problem is what here is, student. Suppose you do this development task, especially I'm talking about the designing part. Maybe you will come for any solution, but just wait for that. So if you're using the web browser, maybe on your PC, laptop, or maybe from any smartphone. So thing is what, the website can be consumed from any application. The application means a web browser which is running on the phone or laptop or anywhere. This is exactly what is going on nowadays. So when you do this thing, you should design your web page in such a way so that when the view is shown on the bigger screen, PC, laptop, or the smaller screen, your smartphones, and the smartphones are of different size. Okay, you cannot say all the smartphones are having almost same size. No, tablet will be there. So thing is what, you should design your page in such a way so that whatever designing you created will be suitable for that particular screen size. That is the point. Getting things what I'm saying? So maybe you will come for any solution over here, because maybe you have gone through the your bootstrap. What is the use of bootstrap? Anyone of you?
We can make a responsive web pages.
When you
It
say
has a,
response, yeah,
it has a predefined library we use for website development.
okay,
We
it
can
has,
use for front-end design also.
okay. So this is for designing web pages, and predefined classes are there so that designing can be done easily. And one more thing, as you told, we can go for the responsive web pages. When you say responsive web pages, means your page will be resized or will be shown according to the screen size. Correct? But then only it is not that much easy. Doesn't matter you are making the responsive web page or not, but then only when the web page is shown in the smaller screen, sometimes in the bigger screen, so your look and feel won't be that much great. And try to understand. Again, I'm saying you, suppose you are creating even the responsive web page, and that web page is shown in the your smaller screen. Okay, the view that can be shown by the web browser. Ultimately, web browser is running on the device also. So that view is very different from the real smartphone apps view. Like very simple example we can take over here. Maybe you are using the Facebook kind of websites. When you want to use this website in your smartphone, so what actually you do? Maybe you will use the web browser so that you can access, you can visit this Facebook website, or one more option is given there. You can download the app, and if you download the app, then only you can use the Facebook. So what is the difference? The main difference is what? Using the app, you will get the better look and feel. Even the efficiency will be better, but that is not the point right now. In the web app, your smartphone app, you will get better look and feel. So instead of using that website, using the web browser in the devices, what you can do, you can download and install that app, your phone app, and then you can use it very effectively. So what is the difference? Actually, in the web browser, web pages are shown, students. Web pages are shown. Just like web pages are shown in our web browser in our PC and laptop. But when you use the website as a web, your app, Android app or iPhone app or whatever app you are using. So in this app, the code is written in such a way so that your content can be shown according to the Android designing, or according to the iPhone designing, or according to the designing tools. You cannot say the HTML designing tools and Android app designing tools or your iPhone app designing tools are very similar. No, very different. Because suppose you want to make a text field in the Android or in the iPhone, their mechanism is very different from the HTML mechanism. And there you will get the better look and feel and even effective. So thing is what now, what would you do? What would you do? So suppose you, now pay attention students. Suppose as a developer, you create a website that gives the response as a view. HTML tag, view, when I say view means more or less HTML tag, because doesn't matter you are using CSS, you are using JavaScript, this and that. Ultimately, views are shown in the HTML tag only. So when you send your response as a view page, so what will happen? View page can be shown in the web browser, but it cannot be shown in your Android app, iPhone app, or any other app. Please try to understand. Then what would you do? Suppose you want to generate the response that should be displayed in your web browser, at the same time maybe in the Android app, at the same time in the iPhone app, or in any other app. Even suppose you want to call from the core Java program, you must be able to call it. Try to understand what I am saying. Okay, this is what you should do. Then maybe you will go for the different pages. Then you created one login page that will give the response as a view page, and then you have to make one more login page, so that will give just data, or maybe the format that can be shown properly in the Android app. Then what about the iPhone app, Windows phone, and these and that? There are many. Then how many applications you will make? Getting things done. What is the problem here? As a response, when you send the view, that view can be shown only in the web browser, not in any other app like your Android app or your iPhone app. Getting what I'm saying? Just try to understand. But this is exactly what you do. So it should not be done. So thing is what? One option is what? You go for the different applications. One application here, one servlet is suppose running over here, that will send the response as a HTML page that can be shown in the web browser. Then you will make one more servlet for the same purpose that will give the response for, let us say, your Android app. One more app servlet is there that will give the response for the iPhone app. Or what would you do? Means the same code you have to write multiple times, because the response should be in the different way. This is the problem that we face nowadays. Okay, so that's why the approach that is used by us is not used nowadays frequently in the market, because the problem you can understand now. Response that is given by your page, your web component, cannot be consumed by all, can be consumed only by the web browser. Whatever pages we created before it is student can be consumed only in the web browser. Except this, it is not possible. Maybe suppose you are sending only text data, so can be consumed, but then only it can be consumed by the web browser only. Means the web browser can take the service of your web page, not any other application. So that's why this approach is not being used nowadays. So what is the approach? Exactly what should be done? First option is you can go for the different web pages, different websites, even you can see, but again, not feasible way, not good idea. So what should be done now? So one thing you can do, student, what is that? Instead of sending the web page, entire web page as a response, you just send the data. Look what exactly we do. When you make a servlet or JSP, there you write the code. Suppose you want to show the record, like we did in the our Spring MVC. Even in the MVC, we wanted to show the entity record. For that purpose, what we did, we created one HTML table, and then in the TRTD, the records were stored, and that complete HTML table is given as a response. So now the response is coming in a formatted way, means the data was written inside the HTML tag, and that was given as a response. So it was a HTML page, means a view you are sending, means you are sending the data, and how to show the data, this is also written over there. You're not sending just data as a response. Please try to understand. Data was written in the table, HTML table. So what you are giving as a response? You are giving data, no doubt, but the data was written in the inside the HTML tag. So you are sending that how to show the data, means view code also given as a response. And this is actually a problem. When the data will go in this particular way, only web browser can show the data in a particular way, proper way, formatted way. This is the problem. So why to send the view? Don't send the view. You just send the data only now. Getting things what I told you, student? You don't give the view, means don't write the HTML tag. Just send the data. And if you send the data, only data will be received on the client machine. And on the client machine, client software will decide that how to show the data, using which code to show the data. Maybe if that particular data that is received in the web browser, so their web browser will decide, okay, it should be shown on the web browser you run the JavaScript. So actually the data will be received by the JavaScript, and using the JavaScript you can make the HTML tags. So on the client machine, when the data is received, it will be shown in the inside the HTML tag, or maybe when the data is received in your Android device, so Android app will decide that the coming data should be shown using the Android controls, not HTML controls or HTML tags. Using Android controls, when the same data will be received in the iPhone device, so iPhone app will decide that the data which is coming should be shown using what? Using obviously iPhone views, correct. So now instead of sending, what should I say? View, you should send just data. So you write your web component in such a way, it doesn't matter what web component you are making, it should not send the view. Data should not be written in any HTML tag or in any other view tag. Only data should be given. So now nowadays development is going on in this way. Now when the data is given on the client machine, client will decide that whatever data is coming should be shown in which format. So now the freedom is what? You have to make just one web component. The web component will send the data. Now when it is received in the web browser, doesn't matter web browser is running on the PC, laptop, or on any smartphone. So there you will receive the data, and on the client machine using the JavaScript code actually, you will use the HTML text so that the data will be shown. So now the HTML code is not coming with the response. The HTML code will be provided at the client machine. From here, you will get just data. Same a web component when requested from, let us say, Android phone. So when Android phone will receive that data, so Android phone will, after receiving the data, Android app will decide how to show that data. So here maybe the Android app is using what? Android controls, Android widgets. Then when the data is received by the iPhone app will use the iPhone widgets. So client is deciding how to show the data. From the website, from the web server, only data is coming. And that is what going on nowadays in the company. So that's why the complete web page is not designed, in most of the cases, not designed. Instead, data is given back. And when the data is given back, how to provide the data? How, look here, on the PC laptop, as I told you, if the data is coming, it will be consumed by web browser means using JavaScript. So here the JavaScript will consume the data. When the data is coming, here your suppose Android phone is there, so maybe the Java will consume the data, or maybe what should I say, your Kotlin will consume the data, different language. When the data is coming, let us say it is consumed on the iPhone, so Swift language or Objective-C will consume the data. Suppose data is received anywhere, let us say in other website, so PHP may consume the data, Python may consume the data. So thing is what? The data that you are sending should be in such a format so that any language can consume this data. And when the data is given, doesn't matter data is provided by using which web component which is created using Java, which is created using PHP, which is created using Python or any other language. And when you write the such kind of code, this is exactly what we call students web services. So web services are the web component written in any language and can be consumed by any language. Getting things what I told you, as I am saying, web component which is developed using a particular technology can be consumed by any other technology code. Okay, so now the technology is not the point. Web services can be written in one language. Your client component can be written in any other language. Okay, and this is what we call actually web services. This is exactly what we will discuss here, students. So now we are talking about web services. So what is web service? I hope you understand the requirement of it. Okay, now web service. Now, when you say web service means exactly what? Obviously, this is the web component. When I say web component means it runs on the server machine only. So web component that runs on server and written in any language and its service can be consumed by any language. And that is the main requirement. Okay, so here actually using the web services, you send the data as a response. Okay, generally you send the data as a response. Although if you want, you can send a formatted data also. Maybe it is HTML, but generally we send the data as a response. So web services are the web component which are written in any language and can be consumed. Consume means its data can be received, can be consumed by any language code. Okay, this is what we call web services. So now the question is how generally the data is given by the web services. As I told you, for that purpose, some data formats are used, and maybe you heard, you know about those data formats. One is what your XML format, or one is what I should say your JSON format. You know about this, students? What is XML format? You know? Okay. When we say XML format, all the other format may be there, but these are the frequently used. So when it comes to the data transfer between the two, so JSON format is used or your XML format is used. Okay. When you see XML format, are you aware about this XML format, students?
Applied.
Yeah. You know what is XML data format? Suppose I want to send the student records, how can I send it? Any one of you, please?
XML is like HTML, but they have like no predefined tag.
Okay. So suppose I want to send the student record using XML format, then what can be done? You know that? Okay, fine. If no, then only just let me brief it. Okay. In the detail, we cannot discuss these students. So let me brief it now. So thing is what, let us say you want to send the student record, okay, as a response. So what would you do? It will be written in a particular format. Here, as you are saying that the tags are not predefined, instead decided by the developer. So suppose you want to send the student records, then what would you like? Students. Okay, then inside the students take, maybe you will make the student take. Takes are decided by you. Then roll number value, let us say 1, 2, 3. Then roll number will be closed over here. Then roll number value. After roll number value, name value. And this is how you send the data. Suppose you want to send more data, so you can write in this way. Okay, student. So here the XML tags are written, and using the XML tag, you can send the data. Now your Android technology or iPhone technology or your web browser technology, that is JavaScript, will consume this data and will take out the data from these tags, and then it will be shown in the, suppose web browser, then in HTML format, then Android, then using the Android controls, iPhone, then using the iPhone controls. Okay, this is exactly what is done. One more approach is there, that is your JSON approach. This is XML approach, student. One more is, that is JSON approach. You know what is JSON?
Yes, sir.
What is JSON?
Sir, in key value pairs, the data.
Okay, JavaScript object notation, correct?
Yes, sir.
So one way is what? JSON data you can send, students. Yeah, please. You used JSON earlier?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. There is no problem then. Then data, same data will be given in this way. JSON array will be created, and then inside this JSON objects may be there. So you can provide the data in this way. Roll number 1, 2, 3. Name, Ram, okay. So just look here, students, what is going on. In the JSON format, we make the JSON array. So in the square bracket, we write the JSON values, comma separated, and then inside this, I have written the JSON objects. JSON objects are written in the key value pair, separated by colon. These are just unique string values, and the value may be any numeric value, Boolean value, or string value, or any object, or any even JSON array. So this is what. So this is one more format which can be given as a response by the web services. In most of the cases nowadays, JSON is being used. What is the reason behind it? It is lightweight. Just look here. When you send the data in the your XML format, so here the metadata is more than your data. What is data here? 1 to 3 Ram, 1 to 4 Rama. Look here. Try to understand. Sorry, this is name. Okay. Then and just look about the tags, students, then student, angular bracket, close, and just look here. So metadata is more than your data. Try to understand. Only data which is going is 1, 2, 3 Ram, 1, 2, 4 Rama. But how many characters are there to send this data? So more characters are for sending the data. Okay, so that's why it is heavyweight. More bandwidth is needed when you go for this XML format. Okay, but in this approach, what is going on? Metadata is not that much. Just look over here, and your square bracket, your curly bracket, double quote is written, and then RNO. So it's not more than what should I say? Just like this. This is the very metadata is more here, and here the data is more instead of metadata. So this is the lightweight. Okay, so that's why the JSON is being used frequently nowadays. So the web service may send the data using the JSON format or XML format. And as I told you, student, nowadays JSON format is being used frequently. So in most of the cases, you will send the data in JSON format. Okay. So thing is what the web services will send the data maybe in the JSON format, XML format, or text format, or sometimes maybe HTML format if it is needed, but generally not used. Okay. So data is given in these formats. Okay, students. Now, if you want to make the web services in your Java, so you can make two types of web services. One is SOAP, another one is REST. When you say SOAP web services, student, this is simple object access protocol. Okay, SOAP stands for simple object access protocol. So as the name says, simple object access protocol means it is a protocol. Set up rules, student. You know very well what is protocol. So set up rules. Okay, some features are defined, you can say, for transferring the data using the SOAP web services. So it is a protocol. Means set up rules are there. Your web services must work on those rules only. Okay, that is the thing. So it is a protocol. So when it comes to the data here, only XML format data can be given as a response. Okay, so data is sent using XML format only. And since the data is sent using the XML format, obviously it is require more bandwidth. Okay, heavyweight, you can say SOAP web services. But since here the setup protocols are predefined, using those protocols, data is given between the two components. So it is secure. Because it has its own means security pages, security rules, security features, protocol, as I'm saying. Okay, so it is secure. Okay. Now, when it comes to the REST web services, when you make the REST as well, these are the RESTful representational, generally called RESTful. So representational state transfer. So when you make the REST, this is state transfer. So this is the architecture. One architecture is given. Using that architecture, you can send the data. Okay. So it is an architecture. One architecture is given, students. Using this architecture, you can send the data. Means one format is given, one blueprint is given. According to that blueprint, you can make the web services. Okay. No protocols are specified over there. Any protocol can be used for the particular architecture. Okay. So here, any protocol can be used. HTTP or your even SOAP protocol. SOAP is also protocol. And the good thing is what can send data in any format. Like suppose you want to go for the JSON format, so you can go for the JSON format, or you can go for XML format if you want. You can go for even the simple text. Your plain text data you can send. Even the HTML pages can be sent, but that should be avoided. But yes, it is possible. So you can send data in any format, not necessary that you should go for a specific format only. And in most of the cases, this freedom is given since you can send the plain text or JSON format data. So it is not heavyweight, this is lightweight. So less bandwidth is required. Okay, so this is what about the your REST API students, REST web services students. And nowadays, web applications, or I should say, REST applications are developed very frequently, and you have to make the REST web services. Now, REST web services can be created using simple your Java code, or maybe you can go for the Spring, or maybe you can go for the Spring Boot. But in the Java world, the web services are developed very frequently using the Spring Boot. So we will learn how to make the web services using Spring Boot. Okay. So first, a little revision of this theoretical part is given student why actually we need the Spring Boot. So what I'm saying, developing the REST web services using the Spring Boot is really very simple. So that's why it is being used very frequently in your development world nowadays. But the important part that you should remember is what type of response is being generated using this one. That is really very important part here. Okay. So I hope the things are clear to you and what we are doing. So now there will be no view code here. Okay. As a developer, you will go for a web component. Using the web component, what you can do, you can make the web component that will generate just data, provide the data like whatever data you will send, and it will be in the JSON format in our case. Fine. If any question you can ask, otherwise we'll go for the next thing, that is Spring Boot. Okay. If there is no question, let us come over here. Although as I told you, it is not necessary that if you want to make the web services, REST web services, then you should go for only Spring Boot only. But if you do, it will be better because it is very easy and being used in the companies very frequently. But what is the more important part in the Spring Boot? Actually, Spring Boot is what it is, framework of your framework. I'll tell you, framework of Spring framework. So what is its meaning? Just listen, student, we started learning the frameworks. We started learning the framework just because design patterns. As I told you, we need to develop the application using a particular design pattern. And suppose we are not aware about the particular design pattern, so some frameworks are available in the market. You use those framework, that particular design pattern will come automatically in your application. Like in the Spring, what we did, we created one Spring MVC Spring application. Okay, MVC program, you remember. Okay, there the structure was already given. You do the entry in the XML file, your view resolver entry, your bean entry, these and that. So one structure is already given. You just follow that structure. Even if you don't know the name of the MVC, you don't know anything about the MVC, but then only if you are using the Spring MVC, your code will be according to the MVC design pattern. So that's why frameworks are given, so that you just learn the framework as a developer. And when you use that particular framework, design pattern will come automatically. Suppose you are making even a single program in your Spring. So IOC will be there. Your inversion of control will be there. Even if you don't know the name of inversion of control, the name of dependency injection, then only if you make the program using the Spring. So that Spring is using what? DI, IOC programming technique. So thing is what, when you use the frameworks, what advantage you will get? You do not need to learn separately, what should I say, any design pattern. If you want to write your own design pattern, will become very tough. Just try to understand, student here, suppose you have to write the code in such a way so that the DAO object or the service object which we created earlier should be provided by any one of your codes. So it will become really tough for you. But that is done by the Spring. So thing is what? Frameworks makes your task easier. But for that purpose, you do many things. Like you make the CFG file, configuration file. You use some annotations. So thing is what? You use some dependencies. So your task becomes again complex. Okay, the framework will provide you the facility so that the particular pattern will come automatically in your application. But the problem is what over here, student, when you do this thing, then means when you use the framework, so you do many configuration tasks. You have to remember that configuration file should be created, some entries should be done there using the tags, and then you should use some of the annotations. So thing is what, now again you are doing your overhead work. And to reduce that overhead work, Spring provides one more framework, that is Spring Boot. So Spring Boot itself is not a complete framework. It is just extension of your Spring students. Getting things what I am saying? Okay. So Spring Boot is the framework of Spring Framework. Means it is developed so that the Spring overhead can be reduced. That configuration task can be reduced. Okay, whatever configuration task you do, means the overhead that you do for using the Spring, that can be reduced. So that's why it is written framework of Spring Framework. That's it. Other things are as it is your Spring. This is actually a Spring. Okay, except this. So now you need to do the less work here. Even while doing the entry, Maven dependency entry, Spring Boot will be better. Okay, so I hope now the things are clear to you. So slowly we'll start working on it. The only problem is what, when you make the your web services using the Spring Boot, you have to test whether it is working or not. That I will tell you how we can do it. Okay.
Sir, no view component is made like that. What?
If you want, you can make, but why to make? Ultimately, we want to avoid it. This is what we are discussing over here. Correct? Now don't generate the view. Suppose when you generate the view, so it can be shown in a particular technology, in a particular software only. So don't make the view now. Okay, view will be developed separately. Actually, the coding is very separate nowadays. Okay, if you are making the web component responsibility is just receive the request and give the data. Don't make the view on the server machine. And when this data is received on the client machine, client is responsible to show the data. Getting things? So that is exactly what is going on nowadays in the company. Okay. So that you do not need to make the different applications, different web components for the different devices, different clients. Okay. Although if you want, you can do. Suppose you use the Spring Boot there, you want to make the views, you can. Should be avoided. That I will tell you. If needed, I will tell you, but not that much easy thing. Fine. So student, this is just a brief about the web services and why the web services being used nowadays, and about the Spring Boot, where the Spring Boot help you. And now I will make one simple program here so that we can
Sir?
print hello. Yeah.
So actually, I had a query regarding
Yes.
this, the SQL dependency, sir. So I actually tried to insert it inside the program of mine, but it was not properly working. It is showing some issue in the SQL dependency itself.
I'm not getting. The question is related to this. Means
No,
any
sir.
error is there in your program. This is what you are saying.
Yeah. So the dependency is not it is not taking the SQL dependency. So in the POM file.
You included some dependencies in the POM file.
Yes.
And it is showing error in the POM file only.
Yes.
Okay, so the version is written incorrectly, so not more than that's okay. So you can do one thing. Yeah, nice. In the break, you tell me. Okay, show your screen. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Maybe just a spelling mistake, not more than that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Fine, students. Let us come back over here now. So now we will go for the very first our Spring Boot application. Again, will be simple. It's a very easy to develop the application using Spring Boot. Okay, it's very simple. So let us start now. And till this point, I used to say that you do not need any tool here, but now you should install the tool. Although there is an online mechanism using which you can develop the application, but avoid that approach. Instead, go for the STS or your Eclipse. Okay. Otherwise, we will do one thing here. We will go for the new workspace here. Where is your workspace? Okay.
Sir, the approach will be same on Spring IDE as well.
Exactly same. This is Spring actually, students. So this, yeah, in STS, this is what you're asking.
Yes, in STS.
Exactly same. Exactly same. There is no change. Even the look and feel will be same as Eclipse.
Okay.
If you are using Eclipse, you will find that still you are using the Eclipse. Okay. So no
Okay.
change. Yes, no problem. Exactly same, students. Okay, so now please pay attention, student, over here, and at least the Spring Boot application should be done by all of you. It seems that all of you are not doing practice. Few of you are doing practice, and most of it seems that you are not doing practice at least regularly. Am I correct? Because whenever there is interaction between you, most of you just maintain silence. Okay, don't interact. Okay. So it seems, but at least Spring Boot program should be created by students. Very simple, very simple. Okay. So at least you do these programs. Fine. So I'm making the new now application file new. Look here what I'm doing, students. Please pay attention now. Then other. And then you will find the Spring Boot. And in the Spring Boot, a Spring Starter project should be selected. Next, here you give the name to your Spring Boot project. Suppose I am giving SPR, let us say boot hello app. This is the program that I created. Other things as per your requirement, you can make changes, like instead of Gradle environment, we will use the Maven, students. Okay, because we are using Maven, so keep it Maven only. So Maven Java version, that is up to you. Generally, I use the 11, so I use it. Okay, 8, 11, 17, 19, not a problem. But best thing is what you go for the 11 or 8. Okay, so I'm using the 11. Then group name, whatever group name you want to specify, you can here. So you specify the group name. After specifying the group name, artifact ID, you know very well what is artifact ID. So you specify it. Generally it is same as the your project name, so I keep it as it is. Then here description means the project, whatever you want to write, demo project for a Spring Boot, it's okay, let it remain as it is. Then package name, although it is good idea to keep the package in this way, but generally I go for base package, that is ComSurge package. Okay, same as the group ID. So you also go for the smaller one less package I'm writing over here, but it's okay, let it use. Now, after doing this thing, Spring Boot version should be taken. You go for 2.777 students here, or any version, okay? Not that much big issue here, but better you go for 2 point something, okay? Because few things are not compatible with the code. So that's why. So this one I have taken. Next thing is what? From here you should browse. Now web category first, available in the available. So I'm looking for the web. So in the web, I will get the Spring Web here. Look, web category is shown. When I write the Spring Web here, then it is selected here. Look here, Spring Web is selected. After selecting it, click on the next button and finish button. Okay, so the Spring Boot project is created, student here. When you expand it, good thing is what? Just look here. When I open the home.xml, as I told you that, just a minute. Okay. So just pay attention on the POM file, student, over here. In the POM file, what we did entry of, means we haven't done anything actually. The entry is done automatically over here. And look here inside the dependencies take what is written. In the dependency, group ID is given org.springframework.boot and then Spring Boot starter web. So here actually your Spring Boot provides some starter dependencies. Just remember this word, student, over here, starter. Okay, Spring Boot starter web, Spring Boot starter test. So your Spring Boot provide the starter dependencies so that the real dependencies are resolved automatically. It means suppose you want to make the MVC web application in your Spring, then you know Spring MVC is needed. So those dependencies mean the real dependencies are resolved automatically by the Spring Boot starter dependencies. You just give the starter dependencies and it will be given while creating the project. So here in the Spring Boot, we provide the starter dependencies. So the dependency related and compatible dependencies are resolved automatically. So this is one easier task. You do not need to worry about the dependency entry over here. Provide the starter dependencies will be resolved automatically. Even the version will be resolved automatically. That which, like here we are using starter web, and at the same time we have written starter test. So actually what I want to use the MVC dependency over here and test dependencies over here. So which MVC dependency, which version of the MVC dependency will be compatible with the version of the test dependency will be resolved automatically. We do not need to worry about it. So here we do the starter dependency entry. So real dependency and the version will be resolved automatically by the Spring Boot. And that's why I told you Spring Boot is the framework of Spring. So here the configuration, least configuration task is needed. And even we started from this point only. We do not need to worry about the pom.xml file now. It is created and the started dependencies are there. So real dependencies and the version, compatible version will be resolved automatically by the Spring Boot. Okay, this is the very first advantage that you will get. Okay, so least configuration task is needed. Please, student, remember all these things because maybe there is a question that why should we use the Spring Boot instead of Spring? So you should know. So first thing is what least configuration task is needed when you use the Spring Boot. First thing we have seen even over here. We started from this point only. Now let us move ahead. The next thing is what we used to create the CFG file, Spring configuration file, if you remember, so that we can provide the configuration information like bean entries and any other like AOP entries or some other entries. No need to create the CFG file. Okay, you do not need to create any CFG file. That is managed automatically by your Spring Boot. Now the next thing is what when you expand it, okay, so Spring Boot, here one class is automatically created. Let me open it. And the class is main class because main method is written in it. Okay. And with this class, what is written at the rate Spring Boot application. So when you do this annotation, when you do the entry of this annotation, student, the configuration task will be done automatically by the Spring Boot. That's why this annotation is given. Not only this thing, student, there are many things which are done by the here. So Spring configuration task will be managed automatically internally. You do not need to do much entries for that purpose. There is no need of creating the CFG file. That is one more thing. Next thing is what? Look here. In this workspace, just one project is present, student. I'm making the web application, but there is no server included over here. So if the server is not included, just try to understand, if the server is not included, then how can we, what should I say, run this on the server? So this is also taken care by the Spring Boot only. You do not need to include any server in your CFG file. Even if you don't have any server installed on your machine, then only it will be managed. Why? Because Spring Boot has its own server that is integrated over here. Apache Tomcat is integrated over here, students. So you can use that integrated server. So you do not need to install any server. Second advantage. So less configuration is needed. Almost you do not need to create even the CFG file. Starter dependencies are given so that you do not need to worry about the dependency in their version. Next thing is what? Here you do not need to install the server. Server is provided. Not only the server is provided, if you want to test it. So here, look here, one thread is running, okay? Spring application dot run and then Spring Boot application dot class. So this class is known as a configuration class, student. At the rate Spring Boot application. Okay, this is the configuration. This is the, we can see specific version of at the rate configuration and at the rate enable auto configuration. Okay, so here this class is given. Using the class, your Spring Boot will find out that even the base package, you know, base package we used to specify using the context component scheme. So where is the context component scheme? Where the Spring Boot will look for the bean classes in this package only. Why this package? Just because if you don't write it, so whatever main class you created, it's a package will be taken as a base package. So your Spring will look for the com.survey package or com.survey sub packages for the Spring classes. Okay, so this is again a kind of configuration information, student, where to look for the Spring Bean classes. So all these things are managed over here using this. That's why we are providing here our configuration class information. That is in our case, Spring Boot Hello App dot class. Okay, when you run it, student, this is what you have to do. So the only responsibility that should be managed by you is what? You just create your controller, your service classes, DAO classes is needed, and that's it. Model classes is needed. Other things are managed automatically by the Spring Boot. So do not need to create the CFG file, do not need to do much entry in the com.xml file, managed by the Spring Boot. Do not need to integrate any server. Okay. So now I will create the controller so that we can print the hello, and then we will learn how to run it and how to check whether it is working or not. Okay, students, we are discussing things very slowly and completely. So at least a Spring Boot application should be developed by you. At least make these programs. Okay, so make the controller. Now the task will be same as we used to do in the Spring. So right click here, new class. The package name, suppose I am giving CMTR. Okay, now to make the controller, since I want to make the REST web service, so it should be annotated using REST controller. Okay, student, to make the REST web services in the Spring Boot, you need to create a class. That class should be annotated using @REST controller. So @REST controller class is created here. Now, you have to make the URL over here, means same thing, you have to make the methods over here that will be mapped with a URL, so that method can be accessed for any particular processing. So the method can return anything, student, over here. So what in the your Spring controller, if you remember, we used to give the view name because Spring controller returns view. So that's why we specify the view name. But since in the Spring Boot, as I told you, student, we return what? Web services will return what? Data. So you should specify the type of the data that you want to return. Please, student, the difference, try to understand the difference. In the Spring, when you create the controller, controller returns view because there you design the MVC application. So if you remember, there we used to write always a string, but the string for what? For returning the view name, if you remember, student. But here you should specify the data type that you want to return. Since I want to return here a string data type, so this is data type here, student. So I want to return a string data, hello Spring Boot, something like that. So that's why the return type is given a string here. Now I'm writing here, let us say hello name, curly bracket open close. So return now. And in the return I'm writing, let us say hello Spring Boot. So there is a difference between the return in your Spring student and there is a return in your REST controller in Spring Boot. Okay, here we are returning actually the data. This return type is for the data type. There the return type was for the view name. Okay, because there we return view, here we return the data. Now, one URL should be given over here. So if you remember in the Spring, which annotation we used, @request mapping. And then in the request mapping, we specify the URL. At the same time, we specify the method type. Here also we do the same thing, students, but here the different annotations are used. Instead of going for that, here we should go for the specific annotations get mapping. It means you are creating this method that will handle only get type of request, get mapping for handling get type of request. So get mapping is used to handle the URL of get type URL. Okay, now you specify the URL over here. So the URL can be given using the value or directly can be given, not a problem. And slash, here suppose I write hello. Okay, and that's it. As a developer, your responsibility is what? You just create the controller, should be annotated using REST controller. REST controller will manage your return data. Means if you are returning a string, one string will be written. If you are returning any object, then the JSON format will be created automatically for that object and will be resolved. Okay, so it is actually the combination of @controller and response body. Okay, so your task is done now. What you have to do, you have to just run it. This is the only thing that you should do, student, and you can find it very simple as compared to your Spring now. So let us run it. And just check the console window. Inside the console window, when you find this thing written, students, look here. Spring Boot Hello application. Here it is written. Then Tomcat started on port 8080. Look here, even the Tomcat server is also started. There is no server specified by me. So everything is fine in the program. So now your application is working properly. Only thing, maybe you want to test whether it is really working or not. So how can you do it? For that purpose, right now I will use the web browser. So let us open the web browser. Here your port is given, student. Just look here, port is given 8080. So it is running on the 8080 port on the local host. Okay. So open the web browser. URL should be typed by you, and the data you will receive over here. Suppose I write localhost 8080 and the URL given was hello. So hello is typed by me and we enter it, and here we got the output hello Spring Boot. Only data you will get, student, here. Okay, and this is the very first program. So when you hit this URL, just a second, students. Okay. Sorry, students, a little bit difference. It was urgent, that's why. Sorry for interruption. Fine. So please, student, pay attention over here. Yeah. So what I told you, that here the view data is given back to us. Okay. So everything is managed. Very simple to make the application using Spring Boot. If you want to ask any question, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll go for the next thing. Okay. The approach is very simple.
Sir, this file is generated automatically?
Yeah,
This-
everything. Yes.
This one.
Yes, yes. Everything. As a developer, we are focusing only on our controller. That's it. And suppose you will make the DAO class, or that will be again more easier. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Less work we are doing, student, over here. And please, student, at least you complete your Spring Boot. Very simple here. I think this program can be written by you and can be the executor run by you very easily. And as a Java developer, in most of the cases, you should develop the web services. Designing part, that depends, but designing part, I don't think that you have to manage. Although again, that depends on the company. So that's why you learn it properly. Okay, very simple. You will find very simple. Even other codes are very simple. Okay, fine. So this is how to make our first application that says hello, and very simple. The flow is here. I'm hitting the URL. Which URL I'm hitting is student localhost 8080 hello. So actually what happens is, student, as a web service developer, what you do, you make the web services in this way, like I created over here. And I have given this URL. Hello. The complete URL will be this one. This one. So this is the URL that you are having. Let us suppose one web service is created by you, and you have given this URL. Now what happens? This URL will be given to the developer who are making the user interface. Like suppose anyone is making the client in the Android app. So Android app developer will get this URL. Or any developer is making, what should I say, client on your iPhone. So iPhone developer will get this URL. Suppose any developer is working in JavaScript, in the JavaScript, maybe simple JavaScript code or jQuery code or React code or your Angular code. So this URL will be given to them. So your responsibilities make the your web service, and its URL will be given to the designers who are designing the views. So now this URL will be given, and according to the return value of this URL, they will decide how to show the data. Getting things, students? So your work is this one only. Okay, on a particular URL, your code should work over there, and this should return any data. Your JSON data, XML data, plain text data, whatever data you want to return. Okay, so now your part is done over here. Now next thing is what? If you want to make the view, then in the view you should consume this one, and using this one you can means whatever data written by this URL, you have to make the view accordingly. Okay, this is exactly what you do. Fine. So this is how to make the web services so that you can generate the data. Now the problem is what is, student? Here it's okay, very simple data I'm returning. That is just what should I say? One string, hello Spring Boot. But suppose you want to send, let us say, complex data in the JSON format, let us say student record or any entity record, car entity record, expense entity record, account record, or category record, product record, or something. Okay. So in that case, what would happen here? You can consume it from anywhere. For that purpose, there are many clients are available on the market. A client means I'm talking about the REST client, so that you can test your REST application. From the web browser, you cannot test it properly. So what should be done? One thing is what you can search for the one software here, student, that is Postman. Postman download for Windows or for Ubuntu, whatever is okay. So actually, this is one client which is available. Postman client, download Postman. Maybe you can see it. So this is the client that you should download. Otherwise, how you will test that your program is working or not? Because data will be given in the JSON format or any other format. So you will test for your application that it is working or not. For that purpose, there are hundreds of REST clients are given, generally known as the REST clients. And among those clients, this Postman is the popular one. So if you want, you can use it. Although I generally used to use REST8. More simple than this one, but then only in your ref it is written that Postman. So we will go for this one only, students. Okay. So you download it, you can install it. Even if you want, it can be included in your web browser as a plugin. Add-ons, what you call add-ons or extension. In the Chrome, we call extension. In the Mozilla Firefox, we call it add-ons. So as add-ons or plugins, or what should I say, your extension, you can include it in your web browser. Maybe there is any option over here. First thing is that either you can download it and install on your Windows or Linux, or one more option is there. That is, maybe you remember. Update is shown setting. I think in the settings, anywhere you will get add-ons or extensions, what you call extensions, I think. It's available extension, it is shown. Your Google startup assembly default browser. There is a setting, student, to add on the extensions. That is, where is
So you
it?
can search it on Google, sir.
That's okay. You search a student, although it is not necessary. Here it is anywhere. I'm not getting it. Where is, which is the option?
सर सबसे नीचे में extensions करके लिखा है वो है क्या
There
reset
actually installed extensions are shown, and there may be something here to download the new one. Let me click on it. Keyboard extensions.
It's shown in
Open
Google.
Chrome in web browser.
Search for it.
Yes, this. Yes, correct. This is the thing. Now here you can search if you want, and there are many. There are many students. Here you can type REST clients, so you will get many options here. REST client. Now there are many, like look here. These are okay. Boomerang, SOAP REST client, but it is for SOAP and REST both. Okay. REST client. This is given. Even maybe the Postman is also available. Let us search it. Interceptor send request on this site. Okay. So you can include the extensions. Okay. Or in the Mozilla, I think it is called add-ons. So you will get something add-ons in your setting, then you can integrate it. Or one more thing you can do, as I told you, you download it and it can be installed on your machine. So that is up to you, student, which approach you want to use. And even any can be used, but better you go for the Postman only, because here we will use the Postman. So on the Ubuntu, I already installed it here. Look here, this Postman. So this is installed over here. Okay, the Postman is installed over here. Although it is not that much user friendly, but more facilities are provided by the Postman. Okay, so now when you open it very first time, maybe you will get one button here, student, that is start sending a request, something like that. Only one button will be there. You have to click that button. Okay, you do not need to do any kind of registration. You can avoid that registration kind of thing. But since I used it earlier, so that's why it is directly that home page, request home page is shown over here. But instead of this page, in your case, when you do it, means when you install it, very first you will get what? One button, start sending request or something like this. Send request, something in that way. So you just click on that button. When you click on that button, you will get this page. That's it. This is what you should do. And installation is very simple. This is very small software, so you can use it here. Okay. Now suppose I want to request my URL from here. So I hope you can see it. From here, you can select the request type. Okay. Get, post, put, whichever request type you want to generate. So we went for the get type of request. So I selected get here. And then the URL was http://localhost:8080. And then after this, it is hello. So I will write hello here. When I write hello, and look here, the response is given in this window. Response, hello Spring Boot and something. It means everything is fine. My program is working properly now. Got it, students? Okay, so this is how to use the Postman. So very simple. What type of request you want to generate, you can select from here, and then here URL can be written, and you can click on the send button. That's it. Okay, so now let us come back here. Now we will create the one application to perform the CRUD operation. So let us do it again. So very simple, students, very simple. So let us make it step by step. So I will go for the same application, student, over here. We will perform the CRUD operation. And you please note down the things here. What should be included? That is again one more important part here. So new, and then again a new application, Spring Starter project in the Spring Boot. Next, now here I will give name Spring Boot CRUD app. Now other thing will remain as it is, Maven 11. The package name I will give as it is, jar file name and the project. Okay. Then next, now here I will use the include. Sorry, I will use include. I will include. Sorry, Spring Web, and then I will go for one more, that is JPA. Actually, if you want to use the Hibernate, you should go for the JPA. Java Persistence API. Okay, JPA. Through the JPA, you will get the Hibernate functionality here. So you include the JPA. Next, I want to use the MySQL. MySQL dependency should be included here. So you do not need to do much here, student. Just search for the dependency and include it here. So more than enough. We will go for the Hibernate for the CRUD. Okay. So web application we are making, web component we are making, MySQL I'm using, and I will use the Hibernate. So GT is included. This is what you should include here. Then click on the next button and finish. Okay. The next step is what here. After completing it, here you will get one folder, student, Java folder, you know very well, to make the Java classes. But one more folder is there, Java, SRC main resource. Inside the SRC main resources, you will get application.properties. In this application.properties file, you will give the property, your Hibernate property or JDBC property that you want to use. Okay, should be written in this one. You just copy and paste it, because this is not any kind of code, student, and the property should be written using the same mechanism as provided. So now we'll give the only username password should be changed by you. So let me do the entry of that application properties. Sorry, the wrong file is open. Let us take these properties. Okay, so here in this application properties, student, we write the information in key value pair. Okay, key equal value. Okay, properties file. So here I have written JDBC properties, and before it hash is written. This is comment, student. Just like in the Java also, we do the comment forward slash to forward slashes or slash star. Using this, we go for the comments. Now next thing is what? Spring data source URL, and then the URL is given over here. That is JDBC MySQL localhost 3306. Then whatever is the database name. So this is your URL, student, for JDBC. Then MySQL username is given using this property. Spring data source username, Spring data source password. So password should be specified. So here you have to make changes, but please make sure that you will change only in the values. Okay, whatever is URL on your PC should be given. Whatever is the username, your MySQL username, MySQL password should be given. And then when it comes to the Hibernate properties, here, just try to understand. Here you should specify the dialect that you want to use. Oracle, then Oracle dialect, MySQL, then MySQL dialect, in this way. So you just keep as it is. Then your DDL schema update is given. You can keep it as it is. Other things, other entries are not needed here. Even student, your MySQL driver class will be resolved automatically. So even the driver entry is not done by me. You can see over here. Very less configuration things are needed when it comes to the Spring Boot. Okay, that version will be resolved automatically over here. Okay, so this is what we did here. You just go for the copy paste and make the necessary changes. If you want to use the GPA, then only this entry is needed. Otherwise, it is not needed. Fine. Okay. After completing the application.properties, you should come for the approach. The approach I will keep as it is, student, because that thing we did many a times. Okay, what we did actually, we created the model class, we created the DAO classes, we created the service classes. So again, I will not tell that thing. Maybe you are very much comfortable with those approaches. So let us start directly working on it. Okay, students. So if you want to go for the MVC, as I told you many a times, very first you decide the entity and you create the entity, what you call model class, your entity class, your DTO class. Okay. So let us create it now. Next step. Please, student, note down yourself, because this thing I told you many a times diagrammatically. Okay. So right click here. Spring Boot CRUD. Okay, I did entry in that one. Just let me check. Yes, sorry. It should be done here. Inform.xml always.
In resources.
Yes. Here it is not needed, so Control X I will do. Here it is needed. Okay. You just close it. Okay, fine. After completing it, next step is make the your DAO class. First DTO class, your model class, or what you call bean class, Hibernate bean. So right click here, new, and then class. Specify the package name, model, and then here you give the name. Suppose I'm giving any name. Let us say product. Finish. Few things I will take a student here. So private int ID, private string, and let us say name. So more than enough if you want to go for it. Even if you want private float and then price. So I take an product here. Go for the getter setter methods. If the rate entity should be written. Then if you want to use the table name, different table name, you write it. I'm just writing it the rate ID. Then I would like to generate it automatically, or if you want to provide, that is up to you. You make it auto increment. For that purpose, generated value will be auto increment. Identity, masculine identity. That's it. Other column names I would like to keep as it is. So this is what we did to use the Hibernate. Okay, so Hibernate bean class is created. Next step, first I will tell you how to make it, then I will give the explanation trend. Although in between I'm telling things, but then only. Now I will go for the DAO class. I'm keeping the sequence as it is. So right click here, new, and one interface I'm making, that is, let us say product DAO. So DAO package I'm giving here. Now when you make the DAO class student here, it should extend one interface, that is CRUD repository, and here should specify the bean name, that is product in our case, and here the identifier property which is written with ID, its type should be written, so that is integer, so integer should be written. Now since this is the DAO, although it manages automatically, but then only it is better to annotate it using @ repository. Okay, so this is how to make the DAO class in case you go for this one. Now next step is service. Now product service. Service Now, here you write the method names, means for the CRUD operation, method should be declared only. So let us declare the methods here. First, let us suppose I will make add method so that the product can be edited. Then update method. Otherwise, you give the similar name that we used to give. Modify product. Then the method to delete the record. Let us say remove. Remove by ID. Suppose by ID I will remove it. Int ID. Then void. Let us see. Here I would like to give modify it selects. In the select will return product object. So product get by ID means for ID particular product we will select int ID. Then product image we will include later on students. Right now we'll go for this approach only. Then one image folder we will include later on. Means image field, sorry. So next is list of product. Now make the its implementing class. Product service impli. Implements product service, override all the methods. And since it is our, what should I say, service class should be annotated using @service. Then one dependency is needed here. So go for that dependency. Dependency will be a product dot type. Now it should be @autowired. Now call the methods one by one. So here I will call product dot save method so that the entity can be saved. Now next step is product dot here modify again save method students. Okay, for both purpose save method will be used. So actually what is the significance of save method over here? When I say save method means it is just like save or update. So suppose this product object contains one ID that is already present in the database table. I would like to repeat my statement here. Suppose this product object contains one ID. That ID is already present in the database table. So update query will be executed by the Spring Boot, your JPA, Java Persistence API. But suppose the ID which is present in the product object is not present in the database table, then new record will be added. So that's why I call you this save method is just like save or update. So doesn't matter you want to call the method for inserting the record or method for modifying or updating the record. You should go for this save method only. Okay. Now let us move ahead. Now remove by ID to product DAO dot. Then here there is a method delete by ID. Next get method. So let us call it now optional product type equal product DAO now here actually directly you will not get the object, instead you will get the optional object. Why is it so? I will tell you, but first we will call the method over here. Now if opt dot is present, sorry, is empty, otherwise better is present, then only include it. Is present, then return opt dot get, otherwise return null.
सर
Yes.
सर ऑप्शनल क्यों लिया है हमने?
Yes, we will discuss. Okay, let us discuss this only. Just try to understand, student. We are calling here inbuilt method that is find by ID. So here what JPA will do, your JPA will find out is there any object in the database table, other that is obviously row. So object will be created using the row content. So is there any row for that given ID 1, 2 or 3? If it is present here, so that will be given. If it is not present, then nothing will be given. But thing is what here object, instead of giving the object, optional is given. So why the method is not giving directly entity type like a product type or account type or car type or employee type or student type? Why this optional is given? So actually optional is a kind of wrapper class student over here. What is the significance I'm telling you, but before it I will tell you something which is related to your wrapper classes in your core Java. You remember the wrapper classes in the core Java?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you name few wrapper classes, at least one?
Integers.
Integer, like
Float.
yeah, so integer class, correct student. So integer wrapper class is given there. So what is the significance of integer class? So significance of integer class is integer class provides one wrapper around the primitive. integer class provides one wrapper around the primitive so that it can be treated as an object. So your integer class contains primitive value, int value. But for what purpose? So maybe you have seen that integer has few methods like parseInt method. You remember integer.parseInt?
Yes, sir.
So some extra functionality can be added, like if you want to convert a string that contains only digits into the integer. So integer class has some functionalities over there. One more utilization, suppose you want to keep the integer value in the your collection framework classes. So cannot be stored. So first this primitive should be converted into the integer object, then only it can be stored. So there one integer object is given. Actually that contains only int value, except this nothing can be stored over there in the integer object, your wrapper integer object. But when you keep your primitive value in your integer, so that integer class is given, that is a kind of wrapper class, so that you can perform some other tasks, like you can keep it in the collection framework classes. You can call the parseInt method to do the parsing, to convert the string into the int value like this. So same thing is here. Optional is the wrapper class that encapsulates or wraps a particular object. Now if you want to provide the wrapper around the primitive, you will go for the like integer wrapper class or float wrapper class or something. But if you want to provide a wrapper around any object, like I created your product object, I want to provide the wrapper around it. For what purpose? Because object, like here I'm selecting the object, maybe the object is present or maybe the object is not present. In that case, this optional method will provide few methods. Accordingly, you can take the decision what you want to do. Like the object is present or not. Is object empty? If present, then what you want to do? If not present, then what you want to do? Okay, even kind of filtering can be done. Maybe it is a product, not product type, it's a subtype. Maybe I will make product, then subclasses, electronic product, electric product. So which type of object is given then? Electronic product or electric product? Because I want to get it in the product. So thing is what some functionalities are given over here, so that selected object will be wrapped around this optional object. So optional is a kind of wrapper class that encapsulate the any Java object, especially your entity object, and it provides some of the methods so that you can take the decision: is present, is empty, if not present then what to do, if present then what to do, empty then what to do, not empty then what to do. Such kind of methods are given, and that's why this method returns the optional that contains the selected object instead of giving directly object over here. So optional is the object which provides one wrapper around any entity object and then provide some of the methods so that according to the method you can take the decision. Getting things, student? So that's why, although you don't have any choice, this method will return optional object only, and from that optional you have to get your object. That's why I written, look, first optional object that will contain one project object here, then I will check it is present or not. If it is present, then get that object and return it, otherwise return null. This is what I have written over here. Okay, so this is the significance of your optional variables. So just like primitive wrapper classes, here this is the wrapper class for your any entity object. Now let us move ahead. Now the next thing that we'll do to select the list. You will get the iterable product type here. Then product of dot find all method. Now this iterable should be iterated and the object should be stored in the array list. Although it is up to you which you want to use. I will use the list and then array list. New array list. Now, after getting it, keep the iterable data in it. So itr dot for each ele lst dot add element one by one in it, this list. Then you return the list. Okay. Again, one more thing, student, over here. What is that? When you call the product DOM method, that is find all, it will return all the records present in your database, means object for all the records present in the database, but that is in the format of iterable. Okay, iterable is an interface. It's an implementing class object will be given over here. Now from this iterable, we need to get the objects one by one. After getting the object one by one, we need to keep it in any collection class. So that is up to you in which collection class you want to include, you want to add. I'm using array list over here. So first what I did, one array list object is created, that is referred by LST. And in this list, I wanted to keep the record which is present in the iterable. So on the iterable, I'm calling the for each method. We are going for the lambda expression here. So here I will get the element one by one from this iterable. Those elements I'm keeping in the list by calling the add method lst.add. Elements are added. So all the records will be added to the array list, and then I'm returning the list from here. Again, student, find all method returns iterable. So you will get the iterable type object here, and then you should write the code so that you can keep it in any collection. That is up to you in which collection you want to keep. Okay, so this is how to select all the records present in your database. Okay, after completing the service class, next step will be creating the controller. Okay, so we will create the controller and then we will test whether it is working or not. Okay, students. Fine. Yes. So controller we will make after break, students. Okay, so now you can take the 20 minutes break and then we will continue. Fine. Okay. Yes. So now you take the break, student. Come after 20 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Fine. So as we created service here, now we'll go for the controller part. So let us start working on it. Right click new class. Suppose the class that I'm making is product controller. com.surgery.cntr is the name that is given by me. Okay, so when you make the controller, you remember one thing, it should be annotated using @controller, rest controller student. Now define the methods one by one. Very first we'll go for select only, insert only. Then we will make the methods one by one. So public string, I will return one string result, let us say success or something. So that's why I'm taking this one. Now here suppose I am making one method add product. It will return one string value. let us say success after adding the record. Now here there should be one dependency, but before dependency, let us mention it. The request type that should be handled by this URL should be post. So I will go for the post mapping. Now URL. Suppose the URL that I want to give is add product. So I will give product only. Since we want to receive the data over here, that receive data should be stored in a bean object that we created. Product bean object we created, student here. So here, obviously, you need to make one parameter of product type. The first thing, okay, and after making this, directly you cannot leave it as it is. Instead, what should be done by you students? At the rate, here you should write at the rate request body. Okay, so it should be annotated using at the rate request body. So that the data will go to this product object, and the data must come in the JSON format only. Then only the data will be received over here. So at that request body means exactly what you are saying, that with the request one JSON format data will be received, and that JSON format data will be automatically converted into the Java object. This is the good part in your Spring Boot, and then will be stored in the product object that you can save. So for saving it, the method is available in the service. So call here the service method, and then here you write product service. Product service. It should be injected automatically. So that's why here you write at the rate auto wire. Now you call the method here. So product service dot add method. Now the next step is test it now. So first we need to run it. Just a second. Okay, sorry. Check the table name. MySQL -u root -p root use survey underscore Java show tables draw table product. Fine. So let us test it now. That is not it. Run the application. Run as Java application. Fine. So the application is started on this given port, students. But now we cannot check it from the web browser because it is not possible to generate the JSON type of request from the your web browser. And how many values we have taken? Sorry, product name and price. Fine. So let us come to the postman now. Here, since student, the request that we are accepting in the controller is a post type. So you mention the post here first. Then HTTP localhost 8080 product. Now, next thing is what? After selecting the post, please student pay attention what I'm doing. Here you should go for the body. I hope you can see it here.
Yes, sir.
So first post URL is mentioned over here. After writing the URL, here what should be done? You should click on the body tab, not parameters, because we haven't written there request parameter. Instead, what is written there? Request body. If you remember, I'm showing it to you. Just look here. Here it is written request body student in your controller. Okay, request body. So actually we want to send the JSON data. So body should be selected. After selecting the body, here you can send the data in that. Just 1 minute. You should. When you select the body, here you will get few more tabs. In those tabs, none, form data, and some other types are written. You just come to the raw, and then here you will get JSON. Okay, student, can you see it? When you click on the raw, JSON is shown. So body, raw, and then JSON format. Since their request body is written, so JSON format is selected. Now this is the window where you should give the JSON format so that the data can be given. In the web services, in most of the cases, student, you will send the JSON data and you will receive the JSON data. Not except this. You cannot do anything except this. So generally, otherwise, even if you want, you can send the request parameter, you can send the text data, even XML data. So that is up to you. So now I'm sending the here JSON object. So that is written in the curly bracket. Very first, I will give the information for in the product. ID is auto incremented. So I will give information for name and price only. Okay. So here I will write the key, that is name, and then its key as a value, name is given. Suppose the name I'm giving PC, comma, price, the JSON key, and then suppose in the price I'm writing something 9.90. So this is the data which is written in the JSON object, student, curly bracket, key value pair, comma separated. Okay. Now you can click on the send button. And here, this is the response window, student. This is the request window, request parameter window, you can see. And this is the response window. In the response window, you will get whatever is written by that particular method. So here we are getting it. So now what is going on? When you make the web services receives the data and gives the data. Okay, students, look here what I did. I am writing one URL here. The request is generated a post type. When I click on the send, your postman automatically sends this JSON data to the your controller. When the request goes to the controller for a particular URL, this URL, okay, localhost 8080 product. So control is received by this web service here in the product controller. In the product controller, this is the URL which is written here for the post mapping. So control comes over here, and here one product type parameter is created in which @request body is written. So thing is what, this is the good part, student. Look here. As a developer, you do not need to convert the JSON format into the Java object. Okay. In case you use any other mechanism, you have to do it explicitly. But here we are receiving the JSON object. Your Spring Boot will receive the JSON object. That JSON object will be converted automatically in the Java product object and will be stored in it because of this @request body. So @request body annotation will receive the JSON object. That JSON object will be converted into the Java object and will be stored in the given parameter. I hope you understand the meaning of this request body. So @request body receives one JSON object. Because of this, one JSON object will be received over here. That JSON object data will be converted into the Java object, in our case, product class object, and that object will be given here in this product parameter automatically. After that, what we did, we are calling the add method of product service by providing this product object. So control will go to the product service. So control is here, student now. Add method. Here, add method. In the add method, we received the product that contains the provided data, and then we are calling the save method. So product.save is called. So look here, product.save. Student, here we haven't written any DAO code. So how it is possible the data is inserted? So your Spring Boot provides one interface, that is CRUD repository. Just try to understand, even the name is given in that way, CRUD repository. And this inbuilt interface, this is the inbuilt interface, students, okay, CRUD repository. Okay, so CRUD repository is written here. What is this CRUD repository? CRUD repository is inbuilt interface, and this interface provides methods to perform CRUD operation on any entity using ID. So this CRUD, as the name says, CRUD repository, it has the inbuilt methods. You do not need to worry about it. Even you do not need to write down any query, student. Query will be written automatically by the CRUD repository. So if you want to perform the CRUD operation, you do not need to write any code. You do not need to create any DAO implementing classes. CRUD repository interface is given. There must be some implementing class of this CRUD repository. You do not need to worry about it. The method names are given. According to your requirement, you can call the method. And there are many methods given here. I will tell you later on, but right now just I will tell you. So this is the interface, your Spring Boot inbuilt interface that has inbuilt method to perform the CRUD operation on the given entity using ID. So that's why here you should give that on which entity you want to perform the CRUD operation. Here I wanted to perform the CRUD operation on the product. So that's why first parameter given to the CRUD repository is what? Your entity on which you want to perform the CRUD operation. Second, as I told you, CRUD repository will perform the operation using ID. Means the record can be selected using ID. Primary key value you can say. You can select using ID. You can insert on the basis of ID. You can update on the basis of ID. You can delete on the basis of ID. So that's why here you should tell that what type of ID you are using. It is not necessary that it should be integer only. It may be any type, even a string type. Okay, so this is what I have written. So here, first entity name and then its identifier property type should be written. Like in the product, just look here. Here ID is annotated using @ID and type of the ID is int. So that's why I have written here int, int, integer. Okay, it should be the wrapper class, not the primitive type. That's it. This is what you should do. Now, rest of the things will be managed by the CRUD repository. You just call the methods. So here that automate means the save method, which is provided by the Spring Boot, will be called and the record will be inserted. You do not need to write down the code or query or call any method. And this is how the insert operation can be performed when you go for your Spring Boot. Yes. The flow is also discussed over here, student. If you are having any question, you can ask. If no question, then we will go for the further discussion. Okay, good. That's a very simple student. We are not doing anything here. Very less code we are writing here. Not much thing is done by us here. So let us do the other things. One by one, we will perform all the operations over here. The only thing that you should take care is what here every time you make the changes, you should close your Spring Boot application and then you should restart it. Okay, that should be done. So let us come to the controller part now. Only controller part is left. Now next I will make one more method here. That is again I will return success or failure from here. So string, then product, let us say update, return success. Now, first we need to receive the data in the JSON format. So @request body, you know very well what is the significance of request body here. Product, a product type. Here Now I would like to go for the put mapping value product. And now here I will call the modify method product service. Modify product. Now just pay attention, student, over here. Maybe you are thinking that, sir, you created two different methods here. One method is product add and one method is product update. But in these two methods, I'm using the same URL. You remember, student, one method can have the different, means multiple URL. That is possible. Just try to understand over here. One method may have multiple okay, one method may have multiple URLs over here. Okay, like here, if you want to give one more product aid or something else, you can give. So a method can have multiple URLs so that the method can be accessed using the different URLs. But it is not possible in a particular website or in a particular controller in case of your Spring Boot or Spring. two methods can have the same URL. That is not possible, but it seems that I'm giving the same URL. Here it is written product/product. Here it is also written /product. But uniqueness of your URL is decided on the basis of request type and the URL, not only on the basis of URL. Suppose a URL is given for the post type of request, because here I'm using @post mapping student. Same URL can be given for the different type of request. Here I'm using @put mapping annotation. So this is the URL which is given to put type of request. So it is possible because here methods are different, means request methods are different. Here post type of request, here put type of request. So the different type of request can have the same URL. Okay, but it is not like two post type of request can have the same URL. The gain should be avoided. Although that will be the error. Okay, runtime error. So you will not get any output. You will get the error. So here I would like to keep the same URL so that we can test it very easily. And then the request type I'm keeping here put. Generally, as I told you, post is used to post the data and put is used to modify the resources. Okay, set the resources. So that's why I'm using the put type of request over here. URL is given same. Now here we will receive the product object that can be modified. Okay. So let us run it now, students. Although if you want to go for the different URL, you can go like we used to do. But in this program, I'm not doing that. Okay, start. Project is started. Come to the post main. From the post main. And student, one more thing that I will tell you. First, let me run it from here. So one record is, I think, already present. Let us insert few more records. Send, success, mobile, send. So few requests are generated for this post product URL. Let us check it now. Select star from product. Now first show the table. I think it will be in the small letter. Let me see. So tables. Yes. So select star from product. Okay. And look here, PC, mobile inserted in this table. Now I would like to update here. While updating, I will give both things here. Post main. Now here, ID also requires, so ID colon, let us say 4. And then product name, let us say something else. Price, let us say something else. So now the request type will be put now. So request type put is selected from here, and then the URL is given. We kept the URL as it is, product only. So there is no problem. Put request, the URL is product, and the data we are sending here with ID. Okay. Okay, sorry. This is written here. Oh, okay, correctly written. No problem. Success is printed. Now open the MySQL and paste it, and look here, 4 AC and 150 is written. Now the same thing is going on over here, students. Very simple. As I told you, at least you should make these programs, very simple programs. So when you generate the request, means you give the URL is given over here, and we are expecting their JSON object. So one JSON object is written in this window, and then when click the send button, so put type of request is generated for this URL. So here your Spring Boot will find out, is there any method that is having put mapping and the URL which is coming? Yes, this is there. Then here same thing will happen. Your JSON object will be converted into the Java object. Then we are calling the modify method. Again, there is call in the service simply. Here we are calling the save method only. So as I told you earlier, even students, that when you call the save method, since this product object contains one ID, and that ID is already present in the database table. So here your Spring Boot will fire the update query, record will be updated. Okay, so this is just like insert or update. So updation will be done. We haven't written any method for that purpose. Repository, CRUD repository method will be called. Then control is back. We are returning the success. So your web service is returning a text that is success. So success is shown in this window. Look here. So this is how to check whether your update method is running properly or not.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
I have a little question like what is the difference between post request and put request? I have a little confused about that.
Yeah, I think we discussed this thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Post is used to provide the data, to send the data with request. If you want to send the data with the request, that is post. And when you say put means if you want to modify any resource, put means actually replace.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But like as on side of like Postman, like on the server side, which handles like
This is
application
what
like
I'm saying.
Postman, what is the difference? Okay, okay.
Okay, this is there is no difference here. When you say request type post means it should be used to provide the data, to send the data. And if you want to replace anything, means you are sending the data so that it can be saved or whatever is. Actually here you provide the new data, and here you provide the data that should be used to replace the existing data. Getting things?
Okay,
Yeah,
sir.
that is the thing.
Means both are providing the data to the
Yeah.
server.
But purpose is different.
Okay, sir.
Okay, only difference is purpose. Okay, put means you want to replace any existing resource. Okay, resource is already available here. That's why put is given.
Okay, sir.
Actually, corresponding to CRUD operation, the methods are given. You can see post, get, put, and delete. We generally don't use it, but given. Okay, and when you go for the web services, you should create the web services in this way only.
Okay, so can we also can we say that we haven't I haven't tried it, but can I have tried for like update even post request can be used for updating data?
And we did it. No, we did it.
Okay, sir.
When we created the Spring MVC, when we created your JSP MVC, means MVC using the JSP servlet or whatever is.
Yes, sir. We
There
use that.
the post only, yeah.
Yes,
There
sir. We
use
use
post
that. That's why I'm confused. Like,
Yes,
why
yes.
are we using put for that?
Yeah, in the web application development, generally we go for the get and post only. But when you make the web services, you go for all these CRUD methods: post, put, delete, and get. Okay, because here ultimately you are dealing with the data. No view is generated over here. In the post and get, actually those are related to send the data and to get your view. But here actually what? Send the data, get the data. That is the thing. So use all this. Okay.
Thanks.
Fine. Okay. Yes. Even in the web browser, you cannot have the put type of request over there in the HTTP. But here you have. Fine. Now let us move ahead, students. And as I told you, if there is a change needed, you should close it. And then you can make changes. Again, I will do the same thing. And one advantage is what? Here actually you are performing operation on the product. So you keep your URL product and you perform the operation. Post, update, delete in this way. Okay. So now I would like to go for the delete. So public, again after deletion I will send deleted or not. So string product delete. Return success. While deleting student, first thing is what? Yes, we will discuss that approach on just 1 minute. First, I will write here @ delete mapping. Okay, although you can go for even get mapping, that is up to you, but best you go for the delete mapping. Then specify the URL, value, and maybe you will specify the URL in this way, product, and then if you want to get the ID over here student, then you will write in this way, @ request parameter. Now you will send only ID students. Okay, so request parameter, request param int ID, let us say I will receive here, then product service dot the method that we are having is remove by ID, and then we are returning the success from here. So what I did, again I'm keeping the URL same, but the request type is different. I'm using @ delete mapping. So here this URL will be executed if the request type is delete now, and delete is used to delete any resource like deleting a data. So that I'm using here @ delete mapping. Then @ request parameter means I don't want to send the request body now. Request parameter is student. Just try to understand. Okay. This time we are making change. Although if you want to go for this one, you can do, but don't do that. Different things should be done at least so that you will have idea. Then according to your requirement, you can use. So request parameter is written. And as I told you, whenever any request parameter will come with the request, it will be stored in the ID variable automatically. And if any type conversion is needed, that will be done automatically. So what request parameter will do, that I already told you, we used it in the Spring, same functionality. Okay. Get the data, do the type conversion if needed, and store in the ID. And now no need to write down here, what should I say, name, because I will keep the request parameter name ID. ID equals something I will send. Okay. So save it, run the application. Okay, it is running now. How to generate the request for it? You student, the code is very simple, but you please pay attention how I'm generating the request. That is also again important part on the basis of parameter given over here. Okay, here on the basis of that we generate the request. So here it should be delete type of request, and the request parameter will be given over here in the post main. Yes. Now come here first. Let us insert few more records. So post, send, now the records which are present in the database are these. Now, suppose I want to delete the last one, let us say 5. Okay. Okay, so you do it now. Request type should be delete now. In the delete, I want to send the parameters. Okay, so here I am writing parameters. Look here, parameters is clicked. Okay, params. Okay, after selecting it, give ID over here, and the value will be 5. Let us say. Okay, so delete this ID 5, and it will be appended over here. I hope you can see this. Delete localhost product question mark ID equal 5. Okay, ID equal 5. It is given. Now you send it. Success is written. Now check it. And look, the record is deleted. 5 is deleted from here. So how the things are going on now? First, you remember how we are generating the request. That is again important part. Params clicked ID. This is the request parameter 5. So the URL is product question mark ID equal 5. This will go to the controller. In the controller, first @delete mapping having the URL. This one, that ID will be stored automatically in this ID, and then we are calling the remove by ID method, so that the corresponding record will be deleted, and then we are returning the success that will be shown in your post main. Okay, so here it is shown, students. So this is how to go for the delete. Now thing is what, here we are sending the data as a what should I say, separate parameter. Question mark ID equal 5 means parameter, request parameter. One more way is there. If you want, you can do one thing here, student. I will comment this method, but student, you remember that when to use which one. Otherwise, let it remain. One more method I am making. Otherwise, comment it so that whenever needed, you can use it. Now here, @path variable. Okay, just pay attention, student, what is written here. So here I created one more method. Actually, there are two ways to send the data. One is what, request parameter, in which we send the data using the parameter, request parameter, ID equals something. This is what we did. Now one more way is there that I will explain in the delete type only. So here again I'm writing delete mapping, but the URL is different, student. Here URL was product only, and the URL is product followed by ID is written, but ID is written inside the curly bracket. Please, student, pay attention properly. It is not written product slash ID. Both are very different thing. If you write in this way, URL suppose written in this way, product underscore ID. It means if a particular method has the URL in this way, slash product slash ID. So in the address bar, you should type like this, slash product slash ID only you should be written. Then only the request can be generated for that particular URL. Okay, but instead of writing in this way, what is written by me here, I'm giving product slash ID, but ID is written inside the curly bracket. So what is the meaning is, of this curly bracket over here? You are saying that the URL is product slash anything, product, and that is followed by slash, after slash anything, maybe 1 2 3 4 Ram Shyam, whatever is. So slash product slash followed by anything. Getting things, students? Getting what is going on?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now thing is what, this is why we are writing in this way. What is the advantage here? Suppose with the path, this is the part of path, this is not request parameter. Actually, just try to understand, when you write the URL in this way, whatever URL you are writing, let us say localhost 8080, then here suppose I write product, and then suppose something add question mark ID equal 123 ampersand name equal something. So you just pay attention on this URL, student. This before question mark is considered as a URL. And after question mark, whatever you written is actually your request body, your data, request parameter actually. There you are sending ID equal 123 and name equal Ram. So this is what you call data. Okay, after question mark, whatever you write. Now thing is what, suppose you write the things in this way. Actually, in your web component, maybe in your JSPR servlet, you get this data, whatever written after question mark, by calling that method. If you remember, request.get parameter ID, request.get parameter name, then you will get this request parameter value there. But here, suppose I write product and something. So what will happen here? This is URL student till this point. Even suppose you don't write data, okay, just remove. If you write or you don't write, that is not the point. But if you write in this way, local colon 8080 slash product slash 122. So this is the path. This is not any kind of data. But if this path data you want to get, this is the part of the path, not any data. Just try to understand. But this is path token. If you want to get, you can. So instead of sending the data as a parameter, what I want to say, if you want to send, you can send the data as a path. Here, what is written? Product 122 is the actually path, but this can be treated as a data in your web services. So if you want to get any token from any path, like this token I want to get, for that means product followed by something. This is what I want to get. It may be sometimes 1, sometimes 2, sometimes 3, sometimes 122 or whatever is. So this information I want to get. For that purpose, you should write the @path variable. It means it is used to get the token of your path, so that it can be converted into the Java type and can be stored in the Java parameter variable. Again, @path variable will do what? Will take the any token from your a token means these are the token. Like here, there are two tokens. One is product and one is followed by product, whatever is you call it ID. So it is used to get the token from the your path, so that the token value can be converted into the particular type and can be stored any variable. So here what will happen? You have written path variable ID. ID is written over here, should be written inside the curly bracket. So whatever value will be followed by product will be stored in the ID variable automatically. And if the type conversion is needed, will be done. But the value should be accordingly. If you are converting it into the type, so product followed must be any integer value only. Okay, that is. And after doing this thing, we are calling this method. So if you want, you can call this one. This will be called. Let us check it. I will write this statement over here. System.out.println. Here I will write first delete. Here I will write second delete, so that we can make sure which one is called. So let us save it. So instead of request parameter, now I will go for the path variable. Okay, started. After starting it, come to the post main. Let us insert few more records. Body, JSON, send, 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 send. So few more records are added, students. Okay, 8, 9. Now what would I do? Delete. And this time I will go for the params. Here I will write student ID, and then suppose I write, let us see, 8. 8 is present there. Yes. So 8 is written. So this time I'm calling which one? Product question mark ID equals to first one. When I send it, success is written. Come to the Eclipse and check it. Look here. First delete is called, student. Okay. Now what I will do? Next time, this time I'm not sending the parameters. Instead, what would I do? Even let me remove it. Okay, so it is deleted. Then product slash, and now I'm writing 9 here. Okay, look here, 9 is written. Data will be deleted if you want to check. Look here. 9 is present, but 8 is missing. Now, here what I'm doing in the post domain, student, just try to understand. So here, now I'm sending the data with path. Request parameter is not written. Okay, look how URL is written. Product slash 9. Okay, this is what written here. Now send. Success is written. You come here, look here, second delete is called. So because the URL given by us is in this way, product followed by any token, we should say. So here what will happen? Your Spring Boot will call the method that is having delete type of mapping, and the URL is product slash something. So that 9 ID gets stored in this ID path variable, and from this path variable I want to get it so that it can be stored in the variable. So it will be stored over here, and then this method remove by ID method will be called so that the record can be removed. Getting thing is, students, so there are two ways over here, and any request type can get the data in this way. Okay, not necessary that you should go for the delete only. Even in the get you can use. So there are two approaches. You get the data using the request param, or you get the data using request, path variable. Yes. Is there any question over here, students? No, good. So I think path variable and request param and request body, these three annotations are clear. The difference also clear. Just 2 minutes, students. I'm coming. Okay, just 2 minutes only. Okay, students, so let us move ahead now. Fine, this thing is clear. Any question here? No. Let us move ahead now. Go for the next. Now make one more method, I think deleted. Okay, go for the delete, sorry, get method now. And good thing is what? Directly you can write the type, okay? So product, and then suppose I write here product, select or get, whatever you want to write. It should be get mapping. So get mapping I'm writing here. Specify the URL, value, I will give it product only, but since one product, so followed by ID, otherwise no need to print it, directly I will return it. Return your product service, product service dot get by ID. ID will be given here. Here, @ path variable now. Using the path variable, I will get it here. Int ID. And at the same time, suppose I want to send all the records. For that purpose, again, I will go for the get only. So public product, a list of product, list of product, product list, return product service dot get all. Now get mapping, now this I will give product. We don't want to get any data, so nothing is written in the parameter list. So here, student, we created two get type of request URLs, get mapping value, but the URL is product and followed by something, some integer value, and that will be stored in this path variable parameter ID, and then we will select it. And good thing is what here we are directly returning the product object. Look here. That's why I told you here in the Spring Boot we return the data. And here when we hit this product URL student, here also we are returning directly the object list, collection list even we are returning. And since this controller is annotated using @request controller, as I told you, @request controller is the combination of @controller and @response body, just like this request body. Please remember, student, I'm talking about the response body. So thing is what here, it is just like @controller plus @response body. Okay, this is what I'm saying. So thing is what, where you write here when you say that here @response body is present. So what is the significance of response body? If you return something from here, like I'm returning the Java object. So this Java object will be converted automatically in the JSON object. Here I'm returning the Java collection. So this Java collection will be automatically converted into the JSON array. Please try to understand. Okay. Like here, what request body will do? Coming JSON object will be converted into the Java object. This is what I told you about the request body. Now, what is the significance of response @response body annotation? So that will convert the return object, Java object, into the JSON object and return Java collections into the JSON array. So the response you will get in the JSON format. Here in this case, you will get the JSON object. Here in this case, automatically you will get the JSON array. So save it and let us run it so that we can test it. It is running. Come to the post main. From the post main, now I will generate the get type of request. So first get product, and here suppose I write, let us say 1, send the request, and look here in the response window we got one JSON. Look here, this is JSON object student, ID1, name PC, price 90.9 something. Okay, so this is what shown over here. Okay, and suppose I generate the request for only product, get type of request. So when you send it, you will get array. Just look here. We received array here, okay? Square bracket, then in the curly bracket, JSON objects. Look here. And this is how to perform the CRUD operation in case you want to go for, what should I say, your repository, okay? And here we are using the JP student, Java Persistent API. And the interface that is used by me is your CRUD repository. Yes, if any question you can ask in this program. If there is no question, we will explore few things that will be related to the your JP repository.
So can you explain this CRUD repository in short?
CRUD repository, actually, this is in an inbuilt Spring Boot interface, provides the method to perform the CRUD operation on the specified entity using the given ID. Clear? So CRUD repository, obviously an interface. This is inbuilt interface provided by the Spring Boot. It has few methods to perform the CRUD operation on given entity. Like I am giving here product entity. So on the product entity, CRUD operation means insert, update, delete, select can be performed without calling any method, means without making any method. We are not making any method here. Look, student, I'm calling the method, but in the DAO, I haven't created any method. Okay. So CRUD repository provides the inbuilt methods. This is inbuilt interface, provides the inbuilt methods to perform the CRUD operation on the given entity. Any entity can be given using the given identifier type. Here we specify the identifier type. Yes, clear now? Getting things what I'm saying?
Okay,
Hello,
sir.
sir.
But the methods are inbuilt, students, okay? And this must be done, student, okay? It's very important, okay? You have to use it when you get the job on Java. In most of the cases, you will have to work in this way only. Yes, what is the next question?
Hello, sir. It's like if I want to give like the like passing as an integer, right? ID or like parameters. So we use the integer. But what if I want to use integer also and string also at the same time for the
No,
parameters?
this is whatever you write here should be written over there. It is not like what is a string integer, just type
Yes,
in a
sir.
string.
Yes, sir.
When
But
you
like,
make-
I'm using both of the like integer also,
Just
but
wait, wait,
sometimes
wait.
yes. Okay.
Sometimes it is not possible. It will be
No.
any one type. Okay. So here, whatever is written means the property which is annotated using @ID, its type should be written there. Clear?
Yes, sir. But like, let's just
Like
say,
composite primary key.
There also you write one type. Do you write two types over there? No. Whatever the class will be written, the class type, then only it will be one. It cannot be two. In any situation, it cannot be two. Just think composite prime again one. That whatever if I remember I gave you the student PK something, then only it is one.
Sir, what do you have to do if we want to select not using primary key like the name or price?
No,
yes,
that
sir.
cannot be
That's
done
my
using
question.
it. That for that purpose you should write the query.
Okay, means we have to write the our method in that
Yes, you should write the query for
DAO
that.
DAO. Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Here we are using the inbuilt methods to perform the CRUD operation. Some more methods are there, but no. If you want to write your own query, then you should write it. Okay.
Actually, that was my question. I also didn't get the question.
Okay. For that purpose, you should write the query. That is different. How to write the other queries except these queries. Actually, just look here. When you go for this one, in the product service employee, let me come here. Look, the methods are given. Look, first find all by ID. Suppose having multiple, save all. Maybe you want to save multiple objects at the same time. Count how many records are there in the database table. Equals is your object method. You know very well that. Access by ID means you want to check whether it is present or not. That's it. So you will get true or false. Find by ID, the method even used by us. So these are the methods which are given. Getting things, hash code and the save method. Delete for the delete method. Delete all means all the record if you want to delete. Delete by some more IDs. Delete by all ID like this. Okay, so these inbuilt methods are there. Except this, suppose you want to execute any query, then you should write it. Okay, that cannot be done. Got it, student? So inbuilt methods are given. That's why I'm using the inbuilt interface provides inbuilt methods. Except this, you cannot do other thing. These methods can be called by me according to your requirement if you want to use the CRUD repository. Okay, so I hope you can do this. This part is really very important, student. You should do it. So very simple actually, Spring Boot. Now, one more thing here, student, as you are asking, sir, suppose I want to select the record by, let us say, not ID, by name, sorry, here by name, product, okay, PC or something, then what can be done? Okay, so just wait for it. I will not create the project from the scratch now. Instead, I will use this existing project, but I will create the copy of it. One. Now, just look here, student. I created the copy, but now instead of going for the CRUD repository, let me come back to the product DAO. The project is as it is. I'm keeping it same. Now GP repository. So instead of using your CRUD repository, you can go for the GP repository. First we'll test it will work same as your CRUD repository. Actually, this is the sub interface. It extends actually CRUD repository sub interface. So let us first test it whether it is working or not, and then we'll go for some different approaches using this. So let me open this application now. So start it now. And check the things now from the post main only. Gate suppose product. Sending request. And look, all the records are selected. No problem. When I get using the ID, let us say 1. Send. Yes, the record is shown. So get is also working now. Suppose I want to go for the delete. Let me check first how many records. Till 7 records are there. So suppose I want to delete, let us say 7. Oh, sorry, it is gate. If the request type is wrong, look here is student, we will get not found error. Okay, path not found, delete 7. It should be delete. Okay, so the path variable. Now, by product. So it is deleted. Success is written. Okay, so look, the 7 ID is deleted. Other methods will also work. Let us go for the other methods. So will work student exactly same because this is the subtype of that one. Now, suppose post. In the post, we should go for the body, then JSON, and here it is present. Send. Post. Okay, sorry. URL is product and some information. Send. Send. Now suppose you want to update, so put ID is needed here. So ID, suppose I give some ID, let me check. 12 something or 11 something. So I will write here 11, let us say. Name I'm giving AC. Price something. You send it. And the record is updated. So it will work in that way, student. There will be no problem. Look here, ACC is written. So all the operation can be performed using even the JP repository. Okay. Now come back to the Eclipse part. Okay. Now let me come to the DAO part, product DAO. And in the product DAO student, when we go for the GP repository, the methods are exactly same. Even if you want to see. Let me make one more change here instead of writing that code controller. So look, all the methods are there. Again, I will show you. Okay, products, sorry, service, Look here, find ID, find one, even few more methods are even given. Find by ID, count, okay. Equals is that method, exist or exist by ID, okay. Find all, some variations are given, even more methods are given. Even to filter something means the where query can be written even, okay. So more methods are given, save all the methods are there. Delete all by ID and something, delete by product. Okay. Find by ID, find all this. Okay. So all the functionalities which are provided by the CRUD repository are provided by the your JP repository. But here what I'm doing now, here suppose in the interface, I'm defining one method student. Let us say I have written public list of let us say product type, and then here I will write select all by name, and here I will write @param, then name string name, name. So here I have written one method students. What is written? Select all by name. This is the name given by me. This is just method declaration. It is returning list of product. Here I have written @param value name equal whatever is name. This is what I have written student. Okay. Nothing is written here by me. Now when it comes to what should I say, your controller. First I will come to the service employee, and in the service DAO, product service. So I will call the DAO here. List of product, then get all by name. Method should be overridden here in this interface. This is just a service. We are just calling the methods over here. So source implement method. Now here I will call the method. So product DAO dot get. Now what name was given by me? Select. So select by all. I will give the name here. So string name. String name should be passed from here. Now come to the controller part. Here again I will make one method. So here the URL should be different now, students. So product name, suppose I'm writing product list by name. Okay, here I will call the other method now, that is product service dot
Sir, name will be in curly braces.
Yes. And then name we are giving. Okay, name is not written there. Otherwise, as a parameter, we can pass. Okay, that will be gate. We have one gate method already with ID. Okay, that is the problem. So we'll do one thing. Gate name and then product by name and then name. Here actually one is already taken, gate, product and followed by something. So again, suppose you write for product followed by something. So it will be problem. So best thing is what? Product followed by something and then followed by something. Otherwise you can change this where products are something. Okay, so that is up to you. Otherwise you can write here. Otherwise it's okay, fine. That is not the point. At the rate path variable according to your choice, you can go for that. String name. So make these two IDs means you are as a different student. I have written this one. Otherwise, you change here products or something can be written here. That is up to you. Okay, so one more get type of request for that is product by name, and then whatever name you will give, name will be received here, and then we will show the records. Close the project. It's already closed. Run it. What is wrong there? No property select by name found.
In DAOs, sir, I think.
Yes, just wait me. No property select all by name. Okay, yes, I forgot student. The naming convention must be followed. Where is this product DAO? Select by name. Or I think it should be find by name. Naming convention should be followed, student over here. Find by name. Control C. And where is the service? Control V. Naming convention should be followed, okay? So done. Now let us come to the post main. Here we have written product, the name, so come back. Fine. So what we were discussing over here, now just pay attention. Okay, so this is the URL which we created a student over here. So we wanted to just call it. So this is what I have written here: localhost 8080 product by name, and the PC is given. Request is get type. So when you click on the send button, look, all the record which are related to the PC, 2 records are there, 1 and 2 are selected. Even if you give some more is there, yeah, AC. So if you write AC here, and when you send the record, AC records are selected. Good thing is what is student over here, just please pay attention. There is no method given by the JPA repository like this. Our DAO class, this one. Here what I did, I created one method for the particular property. There is a name property. A naming convention should be followed, students. Okay. So here what I did, look here. In the product, there is a property. In our bean, Hibernate bean, there is a property. Okay, there is a property that is product. Okay, product property is given here. In the product, exactly what we are doing, students. There is a property name. So suppose you want to specify the where condition for the name, where condition for the price. You do not need to write down the query for that purpose. Instead, what can be done by you? Just pay attention over here. What is done by me? Here, just one method is created in the DAO. Just method is created, no query is written. Method is created, find by name, find by ID, find by name, find by price in case of our bean. Okay, so find by name is written, and whatever is the return type you decide here. Like by name, there may be multiple values, so that's why I'm returning the list. Suppose by any particular property, you will have only one record there. If you are sure that the record is unique, then you can return only product over here. So it is written, and here you should specify the parameter name that should be used in the where condition, where name equals something in that way. Here at the rate param value equal name is written, and string name. Here we will receive the name that will be used in this find by name. Okay, so that the record can be selected. So where condition is written automatically on the all the records which satisfy this particular condition will be written, but it should be for property check only. Name property check, value property check. This is not any general query, students. Got it? So very simply you can write the query over here. Suppose you want to write any where condition for any property. Okay, one more thing we'll do here, students. Suppose I write here public list of product. Now here suppose I write find by salary. If you want to write your own query, but instead of find by salary, you write here, let us see, select by salary, then @ param value, suppose salary, float salary, then if you don't want this behavior, what you can do, you can specify @ query. So @query, and here you can write the query, students. So value or directly query can be written, and you write the query as you write your Hibernate query. So can be written over here. Suppose I write select all the products. So P from product P. Alias should be given, student over here. Select P from product P. So alias, maybe you use these queries providing the alias. So alias should be given. Where P dot salary equal question mark. Okay, so this question mark will be replaced by this parameter value. So if you want to write your own query, can be written. It is not a problem, as you were saying. Suppose we want to write our own query, then how can we write it? So let us call this one. So again, we will make changes in the service now. List of product. Float salary. Method should be overridden. Now product dot find what name was given, gate, I think. Select by salary. Then one method should be written in the controller. By salary, suppose I will write here salary. By salary. Then here float salary. Then here gate by salary. And just locate the data. Close the program. It's already closed. Run it. Again, I think naming convention is not correct. JDB style are not supported. Okay, which JPA version is given there? Okay, student, there is a version mismatch. So let me try it. Where is the query? Product draft. Here it is saying that this approach is deprecated now. So can we write this now? Salary. Let me check. Otherwise, I will tell you that how to specify the wildcard. Maybe it is because of 2.77. Generally, I use 2.5 something, 505 something. So let me check now which version is supported, although query can be written. So let us run it one more time. Please. That is not supported. Here students, wildcard not supported. Not supported. A second only. Error getting name product controller. That is not the point. Okay, I'll tell you student this one. Okay, maybe some token is misplaced over here, so that I will tell you. Don't worry about it. Okay, in the next session I will tell you what is the wildcard, how we can use it, albeit maybe anywhere.
Okay, sir.
Just 1 minute, because let me check the written type. Just 1 minute. Select P, so that is mean complete. So complete, it should return only the list of products. It should work. Okay, then only we'll see it. Product is
Should it be salary or price?
that is okay. Suppose you write salary here, then it will work. This is not the case. It is not necessary. It should be what should I say, your property name only, because these are just variable name. Any variable name can be given that I am giving. Okay, so that is not the point. Point is, I think, when the records are selected and we are making the list, so maybe this condition is not being satisfied. It is written over there. Such kind of tokens cannot be written, and you cannot go for the collection here. So I will check it. Okay, although variable name can be any student, that is not the point. If you want to check, again I will run it. By mistake it was written. So product, no? So instead of this, we should write price. Okay, but this may be issue over here, where P dot price, because this is from the bin. Yes, this may be the issue, student. Here you can write anything, but here it should be price only. Okay, correct. Just wait. So now price, fine. Even although if you want to make the things proper, it should be price only, because we have written 4 price. So make it price. But that is point, student. Yes, you are correct. Here it should be price only. Where? When we are writing the P dot price, that should be price only. But to make it correct, let us write it price. Here you got correctly. It must be price, because P dot price means you are telling that P is the alias for product and this property is present in the product. So it should be price. Other token can be any, variable name can be any. And whatever you write should be written over here. But here you are correct. It must be price. Yes, correct. Okay, let us run it. Now, yes, we will go for again Spring Boot classes tomorrow also, because more things are left here, students. Your security is left and uploading is left, testing is left. So yes, tomorrow you have to go for the again J2EE session. And this is correct, student. You caught it very correctly. Okay, it must be property, any property. Now go for it, get, and the given URL is buy price. So it should be buy price, then price. Any existing should be given. I think 9.90 is present over there. Get type of request. Nothing is there. Empty list is coming. 90.90. So float value is one more problem here. Here we are getting the empty list, student, because of that path variable 150 50.5. Again same thing will happen, but you should have given any value that is for the particular integer value. So that I will tell you, okay. Otherwise, you have to go for the pattern matching some kind of query over here, okay. Otherwise, it is selected, okay. So this is how you can write the query, student. So in the GP, you can go for the better things. Few things are given. Even you can write the query in this way. Directly select by property, find by property. This one I'm explaining. Find by price, find by name, find by ID. Although ID is given already, so find by price, find by name. This is what you should write. Provide the parameter and the value that you want to give in your where condition will be done. But if you want to write the query can be written in this way. Okay, any query can be specified over here, so can be written. Okay. So this is what about the JPA. The extra functionality that we got is what? Here you can define the find methods according to your requirement, and even the query can be written. Okay. If any question you ask, otherwise we will conclude today's session, students. Okay. Yes, ma'am is there.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes, yes, ma'am. So tomorrow again we have to go for the